This is Dave Fargo Kozak, lead quest designer of World of Warcraft, and you are listening to the Epic Podcast.
This is the beginning and the end.
You're listening to the Epic Podcast Show with your hosts, Lignar, Walmardian.
She told me to tie her up and do whatever I wanted to her. So I took a stereo.
And Medicakes.
Do you think the expansion will make me fat?
Enough of this palaver. Let's get the show on the road.
Hey folks, you're listening to Epic Podcasts. We are a podcast for the WoW community. I am Medicakes, and with me is Martian and Lignar. I can't sing for shit.
Well, I was impressed that you were starting to sing, and I was getting ready to say it. Like, wow, we got a lot of people in the chat room tonight. That we got some folks who used to be regulars who went away, and I'm not going to try to pronounce her name, but it's the Taurus.
Yeah, I know.
Well, she disappears randomly. I've given her crap about this. She tweeted last time I looked, and I creeped. I'll admit, when I saw her appear on Twitter again, I looked at her. She disappeared December 7th until 2 to 3 days ago.
Right, I saw a tweet today. I think I saw a tweet from her, and then I almost did the same thing. I almost looked at her profile. I'm like, I haven't heard from her in ages. When was the last time she tweeted? I didn't do it.
I think she's part government. I think she goes on these little sabbaticals where she has to kill some government person to come back.
That could be her cover. The whole she's not an American but living here. That could be part of her cover.
I've been in the Ukraine for a few months. Right? Sorry, I wasn't starting anything.
Oh, now she's giving excuses in the chat.
Yeah,
room.
I know,
Right,
yeah. I'm an engineer. Okay, cover.
Anyway, we just totally hijacked. Medi was talking, and we just totally hijacked it.
Yeah, we do that.
I'm used to it. Just letting you go. You'll let me know when you're ready for me to talk.
That was our way of saying, hey, take it back.
Yeah, we're apologizing.
Awesome. Anyways, we can WoW. I hate going first, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Lignar.
I haven't actually played WoW.
Well, how has your week been?
My week has been not bad, really. It's been a lot of real life stuff. My girlfriend had some surgery last week, so I spent basically last week, actually until yesterday, I spent 9 days at her place, getting ready for the surgery and helping her recover and taking care of her boys and that kind of stuff. So I've not really played much games, period, in the past week or so, but I'm not complaining about it. Real life comes first with everything. So that's pretty much been my week. It's been busy, but it's been a good week. I think everything's been pretty good. So
we have missed you, especially on Siegecracker, because you have to experience the sheer horror.
I was there for our group's first attempt on Siegecrafter. I think it was the first. Maybe it was the second night we saw Siegecrafter ever. And I was kind of bummed. I'll admit, I was kind of bummed. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna make raid. And then I see Scott on Twitter oh, Siegecrafter, you're a shit, or whatever he said. I'm like, so wait a minute, fucking, Scott and Dills and those guys show up and I'm not there. I hadn't seen him in raid in a long time, haven't talked to him in a while, and I'm like, really? So the night that I missed, they show up, and I was kind of bummed about that. But I'm planning on being there tomorrow. I'm planning on being there Sunday. I mean, just kind of had to have this week and a half or so off and to tend to real life, and then I'm coming back. I'm really looking forward to being back. I miss everybody on Furt Raid. Really, really miss everybody. It's a good group of folks. So. I played a little bit of Diablo. You and I played some Diablo here and there. But that's pretty much it. I'm really wanting to get, I played some Smite here and there, but you didn't play with me because you were like, I'd rather play Diablo.
I'm going to try.
And Joe, have you looked at Smite?
No.
I think you should. I really do. It's free to play, I think you should. I think it's one of those, since, and I know we'll talk about it in the news with Heroes of the Storm being in the technical alpha, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But with Heroes of the Storm being in technical alpha, I think for WoW players, which is probably the primary audience for our podcast, right? as WoW players. I think it's a good step into the genre because of the controls and the camera angles and that kind of stuff. I did a video, put it on YouTube, put it out there. It's at least a good first look. It's free to play. Go give it a shot, and you can play around. And I don't know. I think it's a good first step into the genre, at least for people who've never played a MOBA or Hero Brawler or whatever it is Blizzard's calling it. But anyway, sorry, I kind of got off topic. That's pretty much it for my week. So since Medi jumped over me or over herself and went to me in the show notes, I'm just going to go to Joe and then we'll go from there.
Okay. For me, mostly in terms of WoW, I've been leveling characters as always, but my characters are finally getting to where they need to be. My Alliance Shaman is 85, so ready for Pandaria. Been streaming a lot of that with my friend Jacob from Dots Hots and Grave Plots podcast, and then let's see, I also got my DK that's in AIE almost to 85. She's about 84 and a half right now. So she's almost into Pandaria. So that'll be 2 that'll be in Pandaria. That'll make 26 once I actually push them up. So I'm getting closer to my 30. Still recording the Onward series. We did actually a live stream pushing the characters up a bit yesterday, me and my friend Xerxes, which people were confused probably why we were pushing these characters up and it wasn't like recording for an episode or anything. Folks, the reality is if we recorded every second of our leveling for the video series, it would be a very long and boring video series. There has to be some leveling off camera, as it were. So that's why we decided to stream it, so at least there's some entertainment to be gotten from it. So we push those characters to 30 now. So looking forward to getting that pushed up, and the series continues to be very interesting stuff happening. Like I posted, I'll say what I posted on Twitter the other day. There was a picture of us in the Undercity elevator at the top with the door open, and there were some horses literally just standing on the other side looking at us. Those were horses from Hillsbrad. How did they make it to Undercity? Whoa. Welcome to Onward, folks. You'll find out. Weird stuff happens in Onward, so yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I did obviously Hearthstone went live, so I went and played a lot of that, got my Hearthsteed and all that fun stuff. And actually today I did step into Diablo, which is very, very rare for me. But a lot of people have been telling me that the reason I've been so squishy is because of my gear and stuff like that. So I thought I'd go back and play some of the earlier levels and start farming some gear. And the drops I was getting were a tremendous upgrade, and I am not squishy anymore. So I might be playing more Diablo now. So looking forward to that. I love the game, so I just was getting frustrated. But it makes sense now that this new loot has improved my gameplay much more. So.
Loot 2.0 is pretty cool, ain't it?
So far, I mean, I got everything I needed to upgrade. To the point where I even got an achievement for getting gear past a certain level or whatever. So it was obvious that was where I was hurting. I also went into Noxic and redid my spec or whatever they call it. So
what are you playing in Diablo right now? What class? Monk.
Yeah.
Hey, I can help you out there.
Sweet. Yeah. I need all the help I can get.
Medi's pretty good. Medi's pretty good with the monk. If you go with Barbarian, I'm still relearning a little bit how they kind of change stuff with this patch. But I like to think that I don't suck at Barbarian. So if you were doing Barbarian, but Monk, go talk to Medi. She's pretty good at it.
I'm looking. Like I said, it felt really good and fun again today. So I'm excited about the future. I wanna. I'm at 39 now, so I really want to get him pushed up as fast as I can. So
okay, I have a question. Like, because I was 60 a while ago, really. I'm kind of curious, like with Reaper Souls coming out, it seemed like in the PTR that it would be once you play through once you play through the content that came out in Diablo 3 that you would be level 60. Does it feel that way with you leveling right now? Like, do you feel like once you're done with the content that we have available now that you'll be level 60, and then once Reaper Souls comes out, you'll be moving towards 70? Does it feel that way to you, or because I don't know?
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is just me, and I've never played Diablo or anything like it before. It feels very strange to repeat the content to continue leveling. Obviously, Warcraft, you keep going through different expansions, whatever else to keep leveling. There's a progression there, whereas I'm still doing the same storyline multiple times to level the cap. That feels odd to me, and that's one of the reasons actually I stopped, because I love story, and to just have it repeated, even with greater difficulty,
it gets kind of dull. I agree.
It does. So, but I'm willing to deal with it because it's been a long time, and I kind of would like to replay through the story anyway. So I figure this is a perfect time, plus the 50% extra XP right now and everything else. So I want to take advantage of that and try and push them up as soon as possible, because I will want to play the expansion. I won't be able to for a while because it's too pricey for me right now, but I want to see that story because I love Diablo story.
So what level are you right now?
39. It's gonna be a bit.
Okay, you're a little bit ahead of me on my wizard. Maybe I can level my wizard up. Maybe we can play through some stuff together.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a lot
and
of
Medi's got a tune in that level range too.
Okay.
So maybe the three of us can get together.
That. Yeah.
I'm saying we can record it. Yeah. And so does Ro. Yeah. So maybe the four of us can get together and we can do a four person group, and we can just.
I'm seeing a live stream in the future.
Yeah, me too. Maybe next week. Maybe we can do that next week.
There we go. Anyway, so yeah, I'm happy with it. I was very concerned that because so many people were going nuts about it, and I was just like, I don't get it. But once I made those changes, it felt a lot better. So.
I think, Medi, I think that means it's your turn, because it seems like Joe's done.
I didn't throw it to her. You're right. Medi, hi. We could bid.
I'm open.
Yeah, right. We're gonna get to Medi. I'm gonna be Ryan Seacrest. We're gonna get to Medi's weekend WoW after the break. So.
For WoW, I've been very obsessed with gearing up my boosted hunter, and she's currently 518, and I'm pretty proud, and it's all coming back to me because I was kind of debating on which toon I wanted to boost. And I was like, oh, do I boost a level 90 Paladin and heal for the Alliance side like I promised Seraphis and Alex and Mod? Or do I want a toon, a different toon? So I decided to go with the Hunter, and my first original toon when I started playing WoW was a Hunter. Back then they had the mana and the volley, so I just took some time. I went through Throne of Thunder, got a couple of upgrades. I didn't want to dive right into Siege of Orgrimmar, just because of all the horror stories going on. But she's been either number 2 or probably number 5 in DPS in the LFRs that I've been in. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Did you say number 2 or number 5, so you've never been 3rd or 4th?
No. It's either number 2 or number 5. And
I'm sitting there like I'm processing what you said, and I'm like, did I hear that properly?
I'm not 3rd. I'm not 4th. I'm either number 2 or I'm number 5 in DPS. And I'm like, I'm trying to understand when there's not a bunch of ads or crazy ass things, when I'm actually, focusing on the boss, trying to move out of shit, and playing my best. I'm number 2. But when there are a bunch of ads, it's like I'm beast mastery right now, so I don't know what I need to do to improve my AoE on ads, and so I usually drop.
Cast Volley. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. Thank goodness. Besides that, been raiding with Bert. We are still trying to progress against Siegecrafter. I think our best attempt, we got him on 30%.
So speaking of Team for where are we starting tomorrow?
I think we're starting Wing 3.
Okay. All right.
Well, you haven't been in for a while, so you might be able to.
I know. I'm just like I wanted to pick up with some new stuff. I know, but I could use the refresher and the practice and that kind of stuff. Anyway, sorry, didn't. Go ahead.
Silencio, por favor. Gracias. Anyways, I think we'll continue with Wing 3 until we can get a couple more one-shots on all the bosses, because we did one-shot all the bosses in Wing 3 last Sunday. So I've been raiding with Ukahosen style on Tuesdays. I'm going to go ahead and do a little advertisement from them. They are part of AIE on Earthen Ring. They raid Tuesday evenings starting at 9 p.m. through 11 p.m. Eastern. They are looking for DPS with a very good off-tank spec. a couple more healers and a couple more DPS. I say a couple more healers because I'm tired of bringing in Smex when she's not on the Furt raid team, and I want to play on my hunter. So if any of you would like to join the raid team on Tuesdays, you can join. You don't have to be an AIE. You need to be on the Horde side. Just head up AIE. What are their forums? Unami?
Yeah, they're Unami. If you go to Unami, and which will actually redirect you over to Frog Pants, because the AIE forums are actually on Scott's Frog Pants network. But if you Google AIE Guild and go to forums, like, you have to register with the AIE Guild, and then you have to go register again with Frog Pants, and it's not hard to find. It's kind of frustrating to have to register twice, but if you Google AIE Guild, you'll find it, and then you can click on forums, and if you can't find it from there, you're probably not somebody that we want to have in a raid team. I'm sorry, that sounds mean, I know, but if you can't find where you need to click, I'm not sure I want you on my raid team anyway.
Rev says Unami are not the forums.
Unami are not, but that is
there's the forum. Yeah, he sent the link.
Yeah,
in the chat.
it's extra. Well, okay, so yeah, it's my extra life. But it is the Frog Pants forums. Basically, that's where the IE. But I think you have to register. I'm not sure, but you have to register for both. I think, I'm not sure. If you want to be an AIE, I know you have to register for both. But to be on the forums, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think for the forums, you just need to sign up on Frog Pants.
Yeah. Anyway, are you done with your weekend, Well?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay, good, because your name's on the news, so you're up still.
Hey, me. So, first order of business, Warlords pre-orders and level 90 boost. So, if you've been under a rock, the pre-purchase for the standard and digital deluxe edition for Reaper Souls. Sorry.
Wrong game.
I know. I saw their background on MMO Champ, and I was like, oh, Reaper Souls. Anyways, pre-purchase for Warlords of Draenor has come out. Insanity. I'm just going to say that right now. It's $60? No, $50?
It's 50 for the standard.
Yeah, and then almost, what, 70?
70, yeah.
For the digital deluxe, which gets you the mount.
Well, I thought it was 49 and 59.
No.
Is it 59 and 69?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's $10 more on each than it was prior to this.
Right, which has a lot of people upset.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because it does look, and I would probably suggest it probably is, taking into account that boost. I don't know why.
Which is kind of bullshit, but...
Yeah, we still haven't had anything official from Blizz about the extra $10 increase, but I mean, and I know a lot of people are upset, a lot of particular fellow guildies and podcasters, but it could just be something as simple as games go up in prices throughout the years.
Do they? Really? Do they? Games have been $60 since the original Xbox came out. That the console games were $60. Games really don't change in price that much. They do occasionally, but they really they really don't change that much.
I'm trying to play the devil.
I don't care. Like, Blizzard needs a critical eye right now, and I'm willing to give it to them. I don't believe that a $10 increase. I agree with John from Azeroth Roundtable and for Raid Team. I agree that a $10 increase is kind of asinine considering the features that are being added to the game. We've talked about it in the past where this expansion is pretty much content only. And I think a $10 increase is nothing more than justification. And John didn't say this is my words. I think a $10 increase is nothing more than justification for the price of a boosted 90. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to buy the collector's edition. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I still think a $10 increase is kind of bullshit. It is feature light when it comes to an expansion. They're not revamping talents. They're not redoing classes. They're giving us content. And yes, okay, there's new content and there's garrisons. I still don't think it justifies a $10 increase. I'm still going to pay it, but I still think it deserves a critical eye. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm alone. I don't know, because the three of us haven't talked about this. But I still think, a $10 increase is not really justified, considering the other prices of video games. The prices of other games have not gone up $10 in the past 2 years. Especially with Steam coming out, and but not even coming out, but Steam continuing with lower priced games that don't require a $15 a month subscription.
Right.
I think a $10 increase, is nothing more than justifying the $60 price tag for a boosted 90, which, as time has gone by, I think is a valid price. Mm-hmm. More so than I ever thought. I thought it was always in line, but now the more I think about it, and the more I hear about other people's opinions, and I'm able to use that and kind of process it, I think is a valid price for a boosted 90. I still think the price of the game is nothing more than, this is the price point we have to make it to where buying another license for Warlords of Draenor and transferring your toon makes financial sense for you. Because if it was the $10 price lower than we're used to, are the words coming out of my mouth making sense?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
If the price that we are accustomed to for the past two expansions, or at least the past one expansion anyway, actually Cataclysm and Mist both were $10 less with the digital versions. I just think that's playing into the price change. I really do. And it doesn't matter to me. I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to buy the collector's edition. As soon as it's on Amazon, I'm going to pre-order it. But I still think that's a big factor in this cost change. It's not the whole, will games go up? And there are people like, what hasn't gone up in the past 10 years? What hasn't gone up in price in the past 10 years? The cost of games. That's what's not going up in the past 10 years. It's actually going down over the past 10 years.
Yeah, chat room is saying differently.
I was going to say, 360 and PS3 is when they went up to 60. So, I mean, that's the thing. Games like that.
Okay, 10 years ago, what came out 10 years ago?
I don't remember how long it's
been. The Xbox 360 came out 10 years ago.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. 10 years ago, they have not gone up in the past 10 years.
Well, that's the thing, though. They went up 10 years ago to 60 and Blizz didn't. So, to me, in a way, they're just going in line with the rest of things. I mean, they've given us a discount for the past 10 years in a way, if you want to look at it that way. I mean, the only reason this gets a critical eye is because the fact that there is this instant boost, which people attribute that extra $10 for. If we were having an expansion where you didn't have an extra instant boost and it was an extra $10, nobody would probably, I mean, they'd be like, well, that's inflation, it's just the way it is, or maybe they complain about it for various other reasons. But because it has this instant boost, it automatically becomes, that's why. And that may be, but we don't know for sure. It may be something that they would have done had we not even get this instant 90 thing.
No, you're right, and I agree with what Will Seiler's saying. I'd rather pay $10 more for the X-Pack than $1 more per month. I totally agree. I totally agree with that.
Well,
I'm not saying that I disagree with the price. I'm just saying there's been a lot of buzz around it, and this is why people are upset about it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just because the instant 90 and I swear, people always want to find something to pigeonhole something to. They want to label something. Obviously, with these instant 90s, everybody's trying to say LFR is really bad right now. I'm sorry, LFR. It's always
bad.
A touch bad. I mean,
LFR wasn't horrible for Dragon Soul.
No, not really. No,
it wasn't horrible. It still had its issues, but yeah, it didn't really.
Since then, has been horrible.
Then. No, it has been, and that's the thing.
Their loot system was fucking horrible on Dragon Soul LFR.
God.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I mean, those things are. That's what. This game's an evolution. It always has been. Things will improve and things will change, and this extra $10 to me, it looked like the instant 90 thing. But then again, like I said, it's been 10 years. They've been doing the standard game for 50 this whole time, so I think it's been a good run, and it's kind of back to reality. And collector's edition for $70, that's a little pricey.
No. That's not the collector's edition. That's the deluxe digital edition.
Well, that's okay, granted, but usually that's the same price as
it's
the
not.
CE. No, is
No,
that
the CE is usually a little bit more because you have a physical box, you have a book, you have a DVD, a Blu-ray. So it's a little bit more.
True.
And it's usually $10 or $20 more. We still don't know what it's going to be yet.
Right.
But and like I said, like the price change doesn't matter to me. I'm still going to buy the collector's edition as soon as I can fucking buy it. I'm buying it.
And that's my only. I mean, if we're done with that, I don't want to completely deviate from what we're talking about. But my frustration with the whole thing is the physical collector's edition that I'm going to get means I don't get my boosted 90 till down the road, and it feels like I'm being punished for getting something better and paying more for it.
And that's been a big topic. And apparently, like Rose said on her own maintenance, apparently in Canada, and it's apparently the only country on the planet where this works, where you can go to EB Games and pay for your collector's edition and get a code that you can type in and get your goodies, and then later you get your collector's edition.
Interesting.
Yeah, but apparently that's only in Canada, which is fucked up considering Blizzard's based in the U.S. You figured they would have worked that out with a U.S. company before they worked it out with a Canadian company.
Yeah,
but it could be a legal thing in Canada. We don't know.
Well, we know Canadians won't do anything wrong. If they do, they're just gonna be like, "Sorry, I messed
right."
up, sorry.
And they have holes in their money. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right. Yeah. But no, that's a Scott Johnson thing from way back in the instance.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So that's my only frustration with it. Overall, to me, it's just a sign of the times, so I'm not fretting it.
And Medi's been real quiet, but I'm still going to go ahead and just not let her talk.
Y'all been talking about numbers.
Right.
I know y'all been talking about numbers.
Well, no, we haven't actually been talking about numbers. We've been talking about how we value money. Which
so
is
are you moving
different.
on to the next subject?
No, I'm not, because I'm just going to talk about how everybody who's bitched about gnomes haven't made it into a cinematic. You can all shut up now, because this cinematic featured a gnome, like primarily a gnome.
True. That is very true.
And I kind of think that was Blizzard kind of trolling the people talking. No, I know. I know it was.
And plus, I don't know about you guys, but I really thought it was a step up in terms of quality on their cinematics. The new model, of course, but just in general, just some of the little touches. I loved the use of in-game sound effects and stuff where he like looks and sees there's a raid party, but you have to be level 90 and he's only 61. There's that little like when you abandon a quest, or that kind of thing. Little touches I thought really made that for me. So
yeah, and
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the rest of this expansion that way.
And something that Atticus just said in the chat room, the cinematic's greatest thing was just showing how aged the old models were against the gnome. And that's a valid point. It's a very valid point, because the gnome, well, all of the models, but the gnome we've seen since BlizzCon, right? And it's a vast improvement. And like these are the models we're going to be playing, and it's not really a quote unquote cinematic. But the model is improved enough that I kind of thought it was.
Well, it's from the cinematics team at least, but yeah, and that's what I mean for me. Being a wannabe machinimator, looking at something like that, I'm just like drooling.
Right.
So much, because like when I did the Onward teaser for part 2, I had like 2 animations that I could use with the Pandaren to get their face and mouth to move for them to talk. Seeing all this extra stuff that they have going on in their animations now, I'm gonna love that.
Right.
So.
But anyway, are we ready to move on to the next?
Sure. No, actually, I was going to.
That's right. She hasn't even chimed in. We haven't let her.
No, not about the pre-orders, but I want to talk about the whole hoopla going on with the level 90 boost.
Oh, yes.
And what have you gone into LFR? Have you experienced the traumatic
I'm maintaining the party line that I said 1 or 2 episodes ago, where like I killed Garrosh in LFR, and I have not been back since, and that is still true.
I haven't been in LFR in months because I hate myself, but not that much.
It's pretty nuts, but it's I don't know. LFR has always been full of idiots that either don't know how to play their class, just simply ignore the mechanics, or just are there to get Valor points and don't really care. It's maybe a little step above that in how bad it is. But it's like, from what I've been noticing, it's not all the boosted 90s. It's people ignoring the mechanics. And just
but that's always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But it's like they always, something happens and, oh, all these boosted 90s. It's their fault. I'm like, dude, I just boosted this toon and I'm still trying to, relearn the hunter, and I'm doing this much DPS and I'm staying out of shit. It's not just about a boosted toon. It's about how you play that toon.
Right, and I remember, like, right after the boosted 90s became available, and I saw, I'm not going to, like, name names, but I saw some very prominent people posting pictures of Recount, right? And they're like, oh, well, thanks boosted 90s and LFR. And I'm like, not only did you just tweet last night about going to do heroic whatchamacallit, right? So you're bitching about LFR. Two, like, did the boss die? Like, you didn't say that. Did the boss die? Who cares what Recount says? If the boss died, who gives a shit? You got your chance at loot. You got your Valor points. Who gives a shit? And that's always been the case in LFR. I don't care if it's boosted 90s or not. Recount has always been horrendous. There's always been 3 to 5 DPS carrying the entire group. You got your tanks. I'm not discounting y'all tanks. Like I used to tank. Like, I'm not discounting y'all. Like, you got the tanks who really need to know what they're doing. At least one of you need to know what you're doing, depending on the fight. 3 to 5 DPS and 2 healers. Pretty much carry the rest of the LFR. Am I wrong in my numbers? Maybe I need to add 1 healer, maybe 1 DPS. Am I wrong at all?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't know, and it's very hard to describe it. It's like, on my hunter, I go into these and it just seems like it's wipe after wipe after wipe, and I don't want to finish the wing. But it's like, when I bring in my paladin, and I hate saying it, but it's like, fuck, I really am carrying all these people.
Right, and
I'm carrying these heals, and I'm like, are heals really that bad? Because, I mean, some of them, they blame the healers, and I'm
Maddie,
like, actually, healing is pretty fucking low, and I'm a healer, so I would know this.
Medi, when I would go in on my Shadow Priest with the passive heals that I have, and I'm 4th in heals, that should tell you.
Or I've seen it's a bunch of tanks that come in, and they're like, haven't been here before. I'm like, wow, you haven't been here before, okay.
And that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's how the rest of the group responds. That's the problem.
That is a lot of the social engineering that has made things toxic. And there's no policing it. There's nothing.
But people, I mean, somebody comes in, they're like, I haven't been here before. They could be a good tank. It's just they haven't been in there before.
Absolutely.
And it's like, everybody's kick 'em. Oh, we need a better tank. I'm like, how do you know?
Right.
Well, and how are you going to get a better tank if you don't let that guy learn? Like, if you don't let that guy learn, then you're not going to let the next guy learn, and that just kind of that grows upon itself. It's a snowball effect, and you need to let people learn how to tank this stuff. Give them 2 minutes to talk to the other tank, or to talk to somebody who has tanked it. Maybe they're playing a DPS spec right now. Maybe they're playing a healer. Give them that 2 minutes to talk to them. Be like, oh, okay, on 3 stacks, you need to taunt off the other guy, whatever. Give them that 2 minutes, and they're going to learn to tank it, and then you don't have to worry about it next time.
Well, this is why they're encouraging to play with friends, because anytime you're going to get into a situation where you're with strangers, there's no way you can police it. Like I said, there's no way to keep people from being that way. What I'm hoping they're doing, besides encouraging friends to play with friends and guildies and all that stuff, is don't make LFR so it's required for gearing. I mean, make LFR as an option for people that want to raid, that won't get to see it any other way. That's all well and good, but don't make me go through LFR so I can get my character geared.
I totally agree. Like that. I totally agree, and they've kind of talked about it with Warlords about how the gearing progression is going to work with LFR versus the heroic dungeons, the way they're planning on doing them, and that kind of thing. Like, I'm really curious how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not sure Blizzard knows how it's going to work out. I'm pretty sure they have an idea and they've got a design in mind, but they don't know how, once they turn it over to 7.5 million players, how we're going to actually use it.
Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting. And I think a lot of that, honestly, I mean, we've talked a lot about, beta and all that stuff. I think a lot of that stuff's still being debated. I think that might be a lot of what's going on right now. I mean, not that they can't make adjustments during a beta, but there's some pretty serious revamping of the entire game.
Yeah.
Like the thought process.
But so. I'm not sure that has much bearing on beta because we've got to get from 90 to 100 before that matters, right? That's fine tuning stuff at the end stages, at the end game stages, not the leveling stages and the zones. And I mean, we're talking about 8 zones? I don't remember the map, but
I still think that plays a part in the philosophy of a lot of different things, and it has a trickle down effect.
I can see that.
Yeah, and again, for me to say it has any bearing on beta could be completely off, but I think there's a lot more of that going on that we don't know about, of course, and probably won't until way down the road, if we ever do, than we can possibly imagine. There's probably a lot of people in those offices probably going back and forth debating some of the feelings on some of these somewhat controversial changes and stuff, because as much as there's not big things happening in this in terms of a new race and stuff like that, they're really overhauling their philosophy in a lot of different things. So I hope that they fix some of that stuff. Like I said, the LFR in particular, the fact they're encouraging friends to play together is already a good thing. So let's see if
I totally agree with that point.
So anyway, it is almost 9:40.
Yeah, and we've only hit one news item. I kind of want to get to the next one that Medi highlighted, and I think she's about to delete.
No,
I'm not going to delete. I was just highlighting it.
We've got to let. I want the rant.
Okay, I kind of need to rant
delete
here.
A couple of the others.
I kind of need to rant here. Heroes of the Storm is in technical alpha. It happened last week. I want to say Thursday was when invites first started going out. And part of I'm gonna rant. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna rant. I'm kind of upset. And part of this is going to come off as I'm upset because I'm jealous of the people who got in and I didn't get invited. And part of that, maybe 10, 15% of my attitude here is based on that. It's true. I'll admit I'm a little jealous. Mostly I'm not, because like I said in the pre-show, like I was at my girlfriend. She had some surgery last week. I was taking care of her and making sure the kids had dinner and that kind of stuff. And like I wouldn't have been able to play it much anyway. I personally believe that the quote unquote technical alpha that is intended for testing our infrastructure, to end quote, I want to say that the name is nothing but horseshit and a snowball to get people to accept that it is a very limited beta, because the people that got invited are, for the most part, people who have a large following. And it's more about building buzz and excitement and advertising the game than it is about testing. And I understand the need for that. Don't get me wrong, people, please. I understand that that's part of what betas are. I get it. I know. But when I see people who have had no interaction, nothing to do with this game until the alpha went live, and then all of a sudden their Twitter feeds light up with, oh hey, I'm streaming Heroes of the Storm alpha. This is where I sound like I'm jealous and feel excluded, and I admit that. But when I see people who've had nothing to do with the game suddenly just spamming all over the place that they're streaming the alpha, and Blizzard has said, oh, it's technical alpha, and we're trying to test our infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. And the people that they invite, and like I'm gonna list a few names, right? And when I see people like Total Biscuit, who had nothing to do with Heroes of the Storm,
yeah.
And I understand why you invited Total Biscuit. I get it. He's got 1.5 million YouTube subscribers. I get it. I'm not.
There's several people from Twitter that are novelty name people.
Yes, I'm not.
I'm like, how do they get into not only this technical alpha, but
I guess my thing is I don't care that those people got invited. I care that Blizzard is trying to snowball people and saying this is a technical alpha and it's about testing, when the majority of the people that got invited are popular personalities who stream. That is my problem. It's like I don't care that the popular personalities who stream got invited. I kind of have a problem with the fact that Blizzard is trying to, in my opinion, Blizzard is snowballing us into thinking, oh, it's basically a very limited beta. They're just calling it a technical alpha so people don't bitch. That's my opinion.
Well, joke's on them. People are going to bitch anyways.
Right. And I know, I know my comments come off as me bitching and I'm jealous and I feel left out and I feel entitled. And to a degree, I don't feel entitled. But to a degree, I understand. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. I am kind of pissed off that some people who had no interaction with this title at all, and yet I was involved in casting all 4 of the games that they put out for us to cast. I casted all of them. I got featured on their website, and I'm still waiting. Like, I understand, like, from that perspective, yes, I'm a little jealous. I'm a little pissed off. But to me, it's just like, I think they need the critical eye to say, we're not that stupid. We know this is more about buzz than it is about testing. And I understand the game is in, they say alpha, I say early beta. And there's a lot of changes coming. I understand that. There's still heroes to be added. I get it. But I still go back to Mists of Pandaria beta and how drastically changed the classes were from when that beta launched to when the game went live. I still think it's just nothing more than a label that they put on it to try to snowball a lot of the community into accepting how limited the beta is. That's my take. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to hear legitimate reasons that I'm wrong, not just that I'm jealous or whatever. Because I admit that there's a small portion of that I am jealous. But, well, like I said, I couldn't have done anything last week and a half anyway. So, anyway, I'm kind of done ranting.
Okay. I mean, we talked a little bit about this earlier, and I understand your points completely. It kind of, to me, it is what it is. The whole, whether it's technical alpha and the naming thing, it is what it. I mean, Broom Funnel and we've talked about it. I mean, if it's not pretty clear that it's the popular people and all that, then that there's no doubt that's what it is. So the naming thing, I think, I don't think people are falling for it. But either way, Blizzard's a business and they're trying to build buzz and they're trying to get a foothold in a market that has a big game in it that it's going to be hard to break into and surpass. So, they're just trying to step out on the best foot they possibly can. So, doesn't bother me. Some of the people that are in it, it's like Medi was talking about specifically, it's kind of interesting. But again, it's about exposure, and is what it is.
That's my thing. Is it's more about exposure than Blizzard is admitting. And I guess that's my beef. Like, I guess I spent a lot of my career working for a company that would set a record stock price and be like, oh, well, we can't give you a bonus this year because the stock didn't do well. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We did a record stock price this year, but the stock didn't do well. And it seems like, honestly, that seems what Blizzard's telling me right now. Oh, this is about testing, not about exposure. Just fucking tell me the truth that it's about exposure, and I'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
Don't bullshit me, and I'm fine, whatever. Right. I get it that these other people have more followers on Twitter or Twitch, whatever. I get it. That's fine. I get it. But don't lie to me about it. And I guess that's my thing.
Yeah.
And Medi's been really quiet.
I think she tried to talk earlier, and
I did.
And so she's waiting.
No. I learned my lesson. No, so
I kind of wanted. All right.
No, I really want to know what you. I mean, I know you kind of tried to say, but I was.
No.
I was fired up and kind of.
Plus, I ranted on the Centering, apparently very drunk.
Oh, see, no, I need to really go listen to that episode again.
Oh yeah, we talked about the same thing, and I basically defended you when it came to the whole casting.
Which is interesting because you and I hadn't talked about it.
Those that casted the Heroes of the Storm and put in the time and the effort and the videos, they should have at least had some experience with the alpha.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess
because it seemed like Blizzard was like, look at this, why don't you cast this, having no experience at all with this game, do this.
Yeah, and I guess my
faded away.
I'm
still talking, Leg.
I'm just gonna just make noise until you just give up. But go ahead.
Okay, fine. Go ahead, damn it.
Jesus H.
No, go ahead. I was just fucking with you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Swear to God.
Tell me your daddy are fighting.
Oh, so now we're just gonna have a silent off, right? We're gonna have to stand off till one of us actually speaks again.
Great. So I'm gonna sit around and be like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" That'll be great.
No, but it just and what I was going to say, I was agreeing with you about the whole casting and it being just a marketing ploy. But, I'm glad that people that got in, but they got in because they're famous streamers.
For the most part. I mean, I know that there are people who got in who are not what Blizzard considers influencers. There are people who just got in. But I honestly it's a very, very, very small percentage.
I'm seeing it's all these names. And I'm like, what do you have to do with Heroes of the Storm? You're an NPC from a game, and or you have Kincare, and your name is Panzer. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I didn't even really want to say it, except I had to get it off my mind. It's like, I know, like, my rant, I came off as kind of entitled and pissed off, and I was pissed off. But and part of it is jealousy. I admit that, and I don't feel entitled to it. But when I did to kind of say what Medi's saying, like, I'm sitting here looking back at what I've done, casting those replays that they put out. And then there's people who've had nothing more than some comments on Twitter, and they get in the first wave. And it's like, that's fine. Good for them. I'm not upset with them. I'm upset with Blizzard kind of trying to snowball us all into thinking it's about testing. That's my thing. And I think this kind of started with Hearthstone. I really do. But I don't think it was as blatant. I got in early in Hearthstone, and I know there's a lot of other influencers / content creators and whatnot who didn't get in with Hearthstone early or at all, or really late with Hearthstone, who have similar feelings about Hearthstone. And I don't know. Like, I think Blizzard maybe needs to kind of look at how they do this. And again, I know that maybe sounds entitled, that I feel like I should be on the first wave. And no, I don't. But don't bullshit us. Don't lie to us.
Well, and I kind of agree with Brum, but maybe they are testing. Maybe what they are testing is the reception to streaming games and how it looks to observers.
But that's not what they said. Right. The technical alpha was. They said the technical alpha was a test of their infrastructure. To test their reception of the game that's PR and buzz and advertising. That's not testing the infrastructure, which is what they said the technical alpha was for.
Well, that's the word technical right there. Says it all. I mean, it's not about. I mean, you're testing the technical aspects, whereas the people that are streaming this stuff, they're not worried about the technical aspects. To a degree, obviously, they have to run into them. They have to deal with them to a degree. But for the most part, this has been backed up by many people who are saying, I mean, one person even joked that this technical alpha is more polished than any EA game.
But no, and I believe that.
Yeah, comments like that tell me that this isn't technical. It's not. It is to a degree because they're testing it. Yes, they are testing it.
But that just supports my point. They're not really testing it.
Well, they are, but they're not. But like you said, in a beta sense.
Yeah. They're not testing their infrastructure, like is what they said at the announcement. Right. They're testing the game mechanics. They're not testing their infrastructure. I honestly believe that the technical alpha name is nothing more than a snowball attempt, and hopefully they don't continue with it. I really just hopefully that's my belief that they don't continue with the technical alpha in their other games. Hopefully they don't try to pull this bullshit with Legacy of the Void or Warlords of Draenor or whatever's next for Hearthstone, or hopefully they don't try to pull this bullshit and it's just like, hey, we're going to do an alpha. Honestly, if it's an alpha, it's going to have an NDA, and this one doesn't. That should be. I've never heard of an alpha without an NDA until this one.
Right. Yep. I don't know.
Anyway, we're pushing an hour and we've gone through 2 news items, and the next one is a big one, so we ought to move on to the next one. So
okay,
I'm gonna let somebody else start it.
Okay. For me, I'll go ahead because this is something that I've been playing since vanilla, and again, I'm getting a lot of when I say anything like that on my streams, people are like hipster Joe, but whatever. I've seen the incarnation.
Do you drink Starbucks and then play?
That'd be hipster. Absolutely. But no, it's about flying in Draenor, and there has been the video that has gone out of I'm gonna mess up his name, Alex Afrasiabi.
Sounds good.
I can't remember about how to say it, but and his whole thing was that there was potential for no flying at all in Draenor, whereas mostly it's been talked about, say it would only occur till 6.1, whatever. And to me, most of my experience in the game is that the leveling process has always been, no fly until you at least hit cap, or later down the road when they introduced a tome or something you had to pay a bunch of money for or whatever else. Whereas in Cataclysm, since you had old world flying and those zones were an old world, it pretty much covered those as well. So there was the deviation. I think people felt a little, got used to it, felt entitled, whatever. So there's a whole big thing. But now this particular quote from Alex, where he says, "We will not allow flying in the expansion at all," is starting to blow up to the point where people are taking it verbatim as if it's, end all be all. So I don't know. I'm just curious. And for now we just are taking it, and at least I'm taking it as it's just something that he said, and it's not necessarily the case. But how would you guys feel if we had no flying in Draenor ever?
I want my money back for all the fucking flying mounts that people bought and that I bought.
That's
and
the
time
only,
spent.
To me, that's the only real justification. Is the real money spent on mounts?
Right.
That would be my only beef. I mean, as long as they had flight pass, I could.
Hooby Jooby.
What the phonics? Okay.
Worked for you.
As long as they had the flight points and the speed boost for the flight points, and they actually fixed them to where I didn't go around my ass to get to my head. That's the only reason why I'd be upset. It is the money spent. It's the money spent on me, on friends, on listeners. I'm not saying that it wasn't worth it, but to have that taken away from not only myself or my friends, but them, that pissed me the fuck off. So I'm hoping it's that whole not until 6.1, because when he said, no flying in the expansion, pause at all, I wanted to reach through the screen and kind of choke it.
Yeah, but and like Broomfun was saying in the chat room, they're making all the mounts that are currently flying, they will work as ground mounts in 6.0.
That's mainly for PvP, from what I was reading.
Well, no, but they're actually, from what I've read, that they will make it work.
Yeah.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they acknowledged for Battlegrounds, whatever else, but they are talking about being an overall thing.
But the thing is like, it still doesn't matter the fact that I bought a flying mount. Like, I didn't. But the fact that if somebody did, that they paid their $25 to get a mount that flies, and now in current content it doesn't fly, that's kind of horseshit. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of horseshit. As far as a gameplay perspective, I have no problem with them saying that we can't fly until 6.1 or even later. I have no problem with it as long as the content that we're in doesn't make it to where flying would be way better for me.
It's something that Effie had brought up in the chat room. The collector's edition for Warlords mount is a flying
mount. Yeah.
Right. So I can't imagine them just getting rid of flying in the expansion period if they gave you a mount for the collector's edition of Warlords or the digital deluxe edition.
Yeah, I can't imagine them saying ever we won't be able to fly. And
I was gonna say I don't think they would.
So I think people need to simmer down, and this is the whole start of Mist of Pandaria all over again.
Yep.
You can't fly until 6.1.
And I honestly, I think it's a good thing to have it at a patch level as opposed to max level, like because really. You can't fly until you're max level. Okay, so you can't fly until 2 days after the expansion comes out. Is that really a thing? You see what I mean? It's like, is it really that big of a deal?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes I swear people just want to find something. And then my rant that I had in a previous episode, people seem to just anything that gets announced, they find an angle.
Oh yeah.
And it just bothers me because it's silly. Like, again, hipster me, whatever. Back in my day, we didn't fly right away, and it's just, from a design standpoint, I understand it because who wants to spend all that time design a beautiful world for you to just look down on it as if it's nothing anymore? You don't ever get to enjoy it, and I in a way, sometimes when I level my lobies and stuff like that and I go through the older content, I kind of miss that feeling of awe. I mean, one of my biggest awe moments, in fact, the time that I probably fell in love with WoW, was when I came to the gates of Ironforge for the first time, and I understood the game was much bigger than what I had previously thought.
Ironically, me too, and then I played Alliance for a long time.
Well, no, I did too, initially when I
played. When you said Ironforge, I was thinking Orgrimmar. Yeah. Like, for me, it was like running into Orgrimmar. I'm like, holy shit, this thing is big. This is a big game.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That's what she said. Sorry. Sorry.
So, but yeah, I miss that sort of awe feeling and the adventure and stuff, which I'm hoping. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No. I just, and if anybody is still freaking out about the whole at all thing, why would they, especially when you boost to level 90, I mean, you get a faction-specific mount, flying mount, for either Horde or Alliance. Artisan Flying, which is one rank below max flying.
Yeah, which is what, 280?
Right. Yes. Northrend, Kalimdor, and Eastern Kingdoms and Pandaria regional flying skills trained.
Yeah,
so
they're not...
why would they do that and then get rid of it? That'd be stupid.
I totally agree. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 or 3 expansions down the road that they made it to where we couldn't fly in that expansion in the current content. I wouldn't be surprised at all until maybe the last patch or something. It's not coming anytime soon. Like, and I'm not saying that's what they're going to do at all, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But this, for Warlords, we're going to be able to fly probably in 6.1, maybe in 6.2. We're going to be able to fly. Now, maybe 3 expansions down the road, maybe we're going to have to wait till the last patch of the expansion to where it can fly. But really, we're talking about a World of Warcraft that's 15 years old at that point. And you've got these other MMOs out there who are just as, I'm not going to say just as successful, because when you look at sub numbers, they're not. But they're very successful. And they have been around for years. And like, how many other MMOs out there give you flying mounts at all?
Right.
Period.
Yeah, and they've set a precedent with... I'm sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, it's like people are like, oh, well, without flying mounts, the game's not as fun. Well, these other games still exist. And you can't tell me that the reason that, say, EverQuest... I'm not sure what EverQuest 2 is at right now as far as subscribers, but let's just say it's 1 million. I know it's a little bit less than that, right? Let's say it's 500,000, right? So you can't tell me the difference in subscriber numbers between EverQuest 2 and World of Warcraft between 500,000 and 7.8 million is because we have flying mounts in WoW. You just can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That doesn't hold water.
Right.
So it falls to the game developers to give us content that I don't need a flying mount, and the flying mount doesn't make the content easier, or like honestly, like as much as daily sucked at the beginning of Mists of Pandaria, once I could fly, they sucked harder, to be honest with you, because they became less of a challenge and more of a chore. Because I could fly over the shit that I didn't need to worry about.
Right.
And flying doesn't really make things better. You just kind of think it does. It makes things faster and maybe in some ways more convenient, but that's not better when it comes to a game. And it comes down to the difference between a game player versus a game developer on what's quote unquote better.
Well, still, I mean, to me, and this is just me, I play a game because I want to overcome obstacles, because I want a challenge.
Right.
You know, it's not just so I can get everything I want, because to me that makes no sense. I just don't understand that kind of thinking. So, I've never had a problem. That's one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with whatever they do in terms of changes in the game. It evolves, I adjust, and if I for some reason couldn't adjust, didn't want to adjust, then I would just stop playing. It's very, I feel it's cut and dry that way. But you know, they said it, like I was going to say earlier, they have a precedent in which they set with flying and everything. They don't like to take things away because they know how that's going to affect people. Just like have group will travel. That was probably, as much as people are just like, they fucking took my, have group will travel. That was probably a very tough decision for them to make. And, I applaud them for making tough decisions when they have to. And this, if they're going to make a tough decision, this is the time to do it. Because to me, excuse me, they are trying to revamp this game to a degree, trying to take control of the game back a little bit from the social engineering that they've kind of set forth with LFR and things like that. They want to bring it back to a little old school without pissing everyone off. So my hat's off to them to whatever they try. I just think some people need to buckle down and just stop feeling entitled about every little thing in this game. So,
I agree. Like, when it comes to flying in particular, I'm like, you know what? My gut says this sucks. Like, I want to fly once I hit max level. Mm-hmm. But I haven't played these zones yet. I don't know what they're going to be like at max level.
Right.
I'm going to trust the developers at Blizzard, who, by the way, if y'all haven't noticed, they typically do a pretty good job at what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust them to give me content that's going to be worthwhile.
Well, and the best part I like about Blizzard, and I know this for a fact, is that these people play the game as well. So it's not like they're like, let's ruin the game because, we
want it to suck, so let's... No, they're not doing that.
Makes no sense to me, so... Anyway.
And I agree with Medi and Will Seiler in the chat room. I think Rose ignoring us, so I'm just going to say Horde side, so let's see what he says in the chat room. Anyway, we kind of need to wrap up, but I do kind of want to get to the next topic because it is kind of relevant for news, and then we can move on. So you want me to take that one?
Hey, we went an extra week without a show, so
we did
have extra large show.
We did, so we need to make up for folks who missed last week, and I missed last week, like I really did. But the next item is Siege of Orgrimmar is now for normal and heroic. It is now, you can now cross realm it, which is one of the first signs. They haven't started nerfing it yet. Which did they not? I don't remember how they did that in the past. Did they nerf it and then make it cross realmable?
I think it was in one fell swoop. If I remember right.
Because I don't remember, because I thought they did one and then the other, but this is kind of that first step, and this is like Blizzard's finally admitting it's the end of the expansion. Like we all knew it was the end of the expansion, but it's like. Like they kind of say, like, okay, we're going to nerf it, or we're going to give you the buff, or whatever.
Right.
And then they start making it cross-farmable. They made it was, I think it was with this past maintenance, so yesterday. Is that right?
I believe so.
So you can cross-realm normal and heroic. Siege of Orgrimmar. You've always been able to do flex, and as we know, going into Warlords, you're going to be able to flex. Well, and there won't be flex; it'll be normal.
Right.
That will be cross-realmable, and I want to say heroic will be too, just not mythic, right?
Mythic is the only one, right? But what I find interesting about this is the first link that I included in the notes is the fact that just less than a week ago, or no, just 10 days ago, they said that unlikely it was before 6.0 that they would make these cross-realmable. And now here we are 10 days later. And it's already in the game.
Broomfondle asked in the chat room, was Dragon Soul cross-realm before 5.0? And I'm not sure.
I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
Cross-realmable ever.
But it was. It like they had LFR, right? In 4.3.
Mist?
Yeah, I think it was at the last, like for the pre-Mist patch, like the system changes.
Yeah, that makes, right.
But that was 5.0.
Right, I was going to say, yeah, right at that point when it pretty much it is the expansion, yeah.
So, no, Broomfondle, I don't think it was, but, I mean, you got to understand that was, like, at the beginning of the whole cross-realm, like, that, I mean, Cataclysm is what gave us Friends List, Real ID, and at the time it was Real ID, and then Battle Tag, right? So, like, that all happened during Cataclysm, so that was all kind of building up to cross-realm.
Right.
I mean, it was cross-realm groups for dungeons before. I mean, and it was in 4.2 when ZA and ZG came back as dungeons and not raids. Was that 4.2? Yeah, because 4.3 was Dragon Soul. So yeah, it was around then that cross-realm started. So if you look back at the progression of the technology, it kind of makes sense that they weren't. So yeah, I think this is kind of the first step in saying that for Blizzard, I guess kind of admitting, for lack of a better phrase, quote unquote, admitting that this expansion is done, that we're getting a cross-realm.
I think to me it's just a way to extend the life of the expansion until, or this particular expansion until the new one.
But it's kind of one and the same, right?
Maybe. I mean, but I think that's been a process that's been occurring this whole time. The fact that we have boosts now. What else was there? Lots of little things that they've been doing. I think they're just trying to keep people interested and subbed and staying playing until, because I mean, you're talking about like if the Dragon Soul thing, like you're saying, didn't happen to 5.0. That's like admitting the expansion's over, like right before the new one comes out. This is I don't think this is that so much as it's, again, just a way to keep people having a reason to play. I mean, honestly, as soon as this was mentioned, you look on Twitter, there was 1,000 people going, "Hey, I'd pay for a heroic garage kill," or I'm available for blah blah blah. I mean, there's people all over the place petitioning to cross realm these dungeons. So I think that's more of what it's about.
Oh yeah, it was literally like 3 hours, I think, after I saw that till I got the email from OpenRaid being like, "Hey, you can cross realm Siege of Orgrimmar now."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it was that long, I'm not even sure it was 3 hours.
I don't think it was that long. I know they were tweeting like right away with it, too, which makes sense. That's their job. That's their business. So, yeah, I think it's more about that than signifying the end of the expansion. Because if it was that, they would have waited till it was more towards the end. They just need to keep people subbed. I mean, it's a business. Makes perfect sense. They don't have an annual pass this time. They needed something else. So they're making these little concessions to keep people interested in playing this content that has been out for a long time now. Makes perfect sense. I'm not probably going to do much of it, but, I've got other things to do. I've got characters to level.
No, I've got Diablo to play.
Well, there's that too, and that's fine. That's still, Blizzard games, so they're happy with that.
Right. So anyway, Medi, you've been really quiet. Do you have any comment on the cross-realmable thing? Nope. Okay. Yeah, you're just very concise there, just like nope.
Yep.
My back is hurting, and I need someone to put more gay on there.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave that up to your fiance, so I'm just gonna turn it over to Joe right now.
Okay.
To give us a little rundown here before we end the show.
Yes. Well, first of all, we've talked a little bit about my boosted 90 and boosted 90s in general. Of course, mine will not come until the collector's edition, the physical collector's edition, is available. So that means we have some time, and what we are doing with it, in case you don't know, is we're letting the listeners vote on different aspects of it. So eventually, it will be like an epic character built by you guys. It'll be the epic Frankenstein character built by you guys. Right now, we've already gone through a couple different votes. One was the class. We already figured that out. It is now a hunter that won by 13 votes. We just closed the poll on the faction. We now know that my hunter will be going horde side.
Horde side.
Horde side.
That's right, with a total of 32 votes. Now we have a new poll, thanks to Rev, which is which race is it going to be? So we're going to have that up for a couple, 2-3 weeks. I can't remember the exact amount of time.
Probably, let's say at least 2 weeks. We'll let you know next week. We need to do some math on that. We need to plan it, but it's going to be at least 2 weeks. And can somebody relink the poll again in the chat room?
Yeah, I was going to say if Reb's there. I was going to do it real quick, but so we're gonna do the race now. Then of course there's gonna be the sex after that, and then one lucky grand prize winner. Are we gonna announce that on the charity stream?
Did you say that? I was like, and then the sex? Yes. Wait.
That comes later. So yeah, but it literally is going to be a character you guys create, and like I said, one lucky winner is going to actually be able to name it as well. So looking forward to seeing how that whole thing plays out. So be sure to go to that poll and figure out what race this hunter is going to be. Looking forward to that. It should be very, very interesting. I don't know. I'm half excited, half scared about how this is going. So far, I'm happy with it. Horde and Hunter is very nice for me, so I'm fine with that. But I'm afraid where people are going to go from here.
Yeah, and we
are
a
female belf.
We are planning on sometime during the stream, which is kind of a nice segue into the. Or if you're done, it's kind of a nice segue into the next item in the show notes is on May 17th we're having our second annual Child's Play Marathon. We plan on starting at 11 a.m. on Saturday, May 17th, and going for 24 hours until 11 a.m. on Sunday, May 18th. The whole point is we're going to be playing some Blizzard games. We're going to be playing for, with, and against people who are participating in the stream. And the whole point is to raise money for Child's Play. And if you're not familiar with Child's Play, what they do is they raise money to give games, books, that sort of thing to kids in children's hospitals around the world. If you were ever in a hospital as a kid, you understand how horrible it is, and anything like a game or a book to help distract you from the fact that you're in a hospital is going to help, especially when you're a kid. And so these guys have raised millions of dollars throughout the past few years for kids stuck in hospitals. It started as a Christmas thing, and it kind of turned into a year-round thing. It's a charity I personally am all behind, and I don't want to speak for Medi and Joe, but I'm pretty sure they agree with me. It's a very, very, very good charity. They have a very low overhead as far as charities are concerned, how much money gets donated versus how much actually goes to their actual cause. They give, I think it's like 85% of the amount that gets donated actually goes towards their cause, not paying for overhead and all that kind of stuff. So that is May 17th, starting at 11 a.m. It's going to be a 24-hour marathon. Right now, the current plan is Medi will be here, Aeon will be here, who was here for our first one last year, and Joe is planning on driving down here, so the entire Epic Podcast crew is going to be here in the same place at my place. Ro is planning on showing up. Zia is trying to make a trip down here, so it's going to be... I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to give you 2 words. It's going to be a fucking riot. We're going to have a blast. Hopefully, y'all are going to be here and having a fun time with us. So
we are not going to be drunk the night before.
No, but the two nights before we will be.
I don't know. If things go the way I think they're going to go, I don't really drink, but I think I'm going to be drink during.
Oh, well, you might be alone drinking during, because...
I might do that.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that later, but... If you want to drink during, that's all you. But after last year's experience, yeah, I'm not drinking during. But anyway,
No.
we're looking to have a good time. Last year we had a goal of $1,000, and we pretty much shattered that. We raised in the neighborhood of $1,300. I don't remember the exact dollar amount. But with last year's success and some of the exposure we got from last year's success and some of the friends we made in the community, we've decided to push the envelope, and we're going to shoot for $2,500 this year. So hopefully we can shatter that with the same percentage that we shattered the $1,000 goal last time.
And just and I kind of spaced out when you were talking, like I always do.
Yeah,
But just reinforce this is that we don't see any of this money. It goes directly to Child's Play through their widget.
Right. Yeah, we will have a widget on our website, and like we don't touch the money. It goes straight to Child's Play, like Maddie was just saying. Which I wouldn't want to touch the money, to be honest with you, because it's just too much liability. I'm not saying I'm a dishonest person, but there's just too much liability, and it's like the money goes straight to Child's Play. It will show up if you go to PayPal, however you donate. It'll show up as a I think it's CP Charity is how it shows up on PayPal. It's been a year. I really don't remember. But it's not us. It's straight to them. So right. It's one of those things, like I really believe in this charity. I can't understand how somebody wouldn't want to help sick kids.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have a blast. Even if we don't meet our goal, we're going to have a blast. But I'm really, really hoping that we do meet our goal. I'm hoping we exceed our goal. But we're still going to have fun, and hopefully y'all hanging out with us in the stream will have fun too. But anyway, I guess
it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just speak from my standpoint, being that I was just a listener last time, that if you do show up and watch the stream, because I was at the stream until probably a few hours before they finally finished, just because I passed out.
You were there for 20 of the 24 hours at least.
Yeah, just about. And I just passed out, but
we had several people that stayed with us for
I really felt like just even watching it, I was a part of something. I really felt like I was there hanging out with friends, and the fact that I actually get to be there this time is amazing. So trust me, you guys want to come, and from what I've heard, just from the stuff that we've talked about, and we need to get details, but everything else, at this point, we've had some good talks. You guys won't want to miss this.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun, and I'm
some things.
I'm kind of considering growing a goatee just so I have a reason to shave it off.
There you go.
Because like I did last time, like for those of you who aren't familiar, like I actually shaved my goatee because I had a goatee at the time and I haven't had a goatee since. But I shaved a goatee off on the stream because we met a dollar amount, and it was really awkward because just the way the webcams work and everything. But still, I might just grow my goatee back just so I can have something to shave off. And Joe, you kind of have a goatee already, right?
No, I have a goatee, but the ironic thing is the job I'm going to be going for tomorrow, if I do happen to get it, I believe it's no facial hair, so that will already have to go away, unfortunately. So we'll find another way to torture me. I know Medi will ponder that.
Yeah, she's wanting me to dye my hair pink. Just saying. But anyway.
It washes out the next day.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I'll have a new job. I'm not going to take that risk. We'll figure out something else.
Right. Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap this up. That's enough for the Child's Play Marathon. Let's go ahead and wrap the show up.
Okay, so...
No.
Yeah, I'm waiting on Maddie to give you
God.
scene.
Yes.
So, okay, well, let's give context. I have to give the contact information, of course, to the end of the show, as I always do. Seems like last time I was taking requests as if I'm doing fucking karaoke or something. So we decided that we're going to do that, and Medi definitely had some ideas. So what do you got for me there, Med?
Okay, ready for this?
Oh no, God!
Oh, hold on.
Oh no!
I had to cough. Musical style, Valley Girl.
I have to sing as a Valley Girl?
You have to sing as a Valley Girl, kind of like Buffy, the whole musical episode that I love.
I know, but oh my God!
So this needs to always be Joe's part of the show because there's no way I could do like singing as a Valley Girl. Just saying.
No. Well, all right, fine. God, here we go. Find us on iTunes, iTunes and Stitcher. Leave a review or a thumbs up. If you're listening via download, join us on our live chat at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesdays at epicpodcast.com/live.
Okay,
Is that close?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Well, then you do it.
You kind of drag it out.
You totally sounded like, I mean, really, you sounded like Bugs Bunny with like a really bad voice. That's what you sounded like.
Sorry.
You weren't even like singing it in a musical voice.
I was trying to do a voice and singing at the same time. It's not easy. Jeez. God, right off the bat, she doesn't just like, hey, do it as Kermit the Frog. No, she's just like, sing like a valley girl. Dance for me, monkey, dance. I mean, come on. Let me open up give me a warm-up. Jeez.
That's not valley, that's homosexual.
Well, that explains it. See, I was doing Bugs Bunny when he does a cross-dressing thing. So like, you had the Bugs Bunny.
Our sassy gay friend.
Yeah, we needed Aeon here. Like, Aeon would totally just nail that.
Well, see, I knew a girl that just where I used to work recently was just like, that's what she talked like, you know? And I had this whole rap with her. She's like, this morning I'm having a bad morning because I lost the diamond out of my toothbrush.
Yeah.
And and it's terrible because seriously, I made that toothbrush in arts and crafts in Swans. And if you don't know what Swans is like Girl Scouts, but you're a swan on the inside. Everybody's a swan.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it's about, seriously. And when I lost the diamond out of my toothbrush this morning, I went and cried in all 3 of my bedrooms. Seriously. Didn't take the elevator. I walked to each one of them. It was horrible. So, love you, Katie.
You should have just did the whole fucking show notes, the ending.
Could I do it that way?
You should have done it that way,
Katie?
yeah.
Can I do the whole thing as Katie?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Seriously, guys, if you want to find us, we're on iTunes and Stitcher, and sometimes I'm in select country clubs and things, but we'll just go on. Leave a review or a thumbs up because, you know, that's special, and you're special, so you want to thumbs us up. If you're listening via download, then join our live chat at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays at epicpodcast.com/live because, you know, we're special that way, and you want to see us live. Epic Podcast is a member of Catalyst Gaming Media. Also, they're special. They're swans. They're all of them. Every one of them is a swan. In the inside and on the outside, actually, if you see their content, it's amazing. Be sure to check out other podcasts and YouTubers and bloggers, the webcomics, I can't even talk, and more at catalystgamingmedia.com. Also, be sure to check out the forums. I almost cracked up. Also, be sure to check out the forums on Catalyst's site and participate in the growing community there. If you want to find out more about this show, go to epicpodcast.com. Don't worry about the www stuff. That's so 1990s. If you want to go to epicpodcast@gmail.com, you can write us a little special note and tell us what swans we are. Also, if you want to go to the YouTube channel and see Lig, because he is special. You can go to youtube.com/theepicpodcast, or you could see me, because we all know me. It's very special. I was told I was special when I was a little boy, but it's a whole different thing. You can go to youtube.com/WildMartian, of course, and at epic_podcast is where you can tweet us. We like the Twitters. And you can also talk to Lignar at Lignar on the Twitter, as well as WildMartian, and Medicakes at Medicakes, of course, because she's a very special swan, so I think I pulled something doing that whole thing.
Dude, I've been muted this whole time laughing my ass off.
You guys had to mute the whole time.
Yeah, thank God I got this cough switch here. I could just like put my foot on and just laugh because that's what I've been doing for the past 2 minutes.
Oh God!
And I was just waiting. I just heard Sean in the back of my head going, "Stupid
bitch."
The reality is, that's what's fun. I hate Katie, but thank God for her, but she gave me a new character.
Oh, dude, we might have a new
friend.
We might have a new thing for the show. That might have to be how you read the outro. I'm just saying.
Well,
it hurts. My back hurts.
The funny thing was when I first started doing that, everybody at work was just like, do the Katie thing, do the Katie thing. They're like pushing me to do it for them. And every time I did it, I added on to it. That's how like eventually the whole 3 bedrooms and not using the elevator. It's just every time I did it, I added on to it. So
Okay, so Will Seiler saying in the chat room he wants Ro to include that in the next realm
Oh, dear
maintenance,
God.
and I'm okay with
Don't
that.
document this anywhere. I'm saying it's being recorded.
Yeah, dude, we recorded it. It's gonna be on YouTube and on.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Katie, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's it. Joe's told you how to get a hold of us, so I guess until
No, Katie told us.
Yeah.
well, Katie told us
Stop
how
it.
to get a hold of us. So
You
until
are a silly goose. You're not even a Thwan. You just stay out of it now. You're dead to me, Mr. Goose.
all right. So I guess until next time. Have fun, wow, y'all.